Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It is August 23rd, 2022. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time to talk strategies, share tips, success stories, but ultimately we're here to support each of you. We've had a tremendous growth in our white label partnership team. We essentially relaunched the white label partnership role last week, whereby we are recontracting with any of you that had been previously white label partners. The benefit is it has now the comp for all three campaigns, and we're going to briefly review that. I'll make it larger in a moment. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Yesterday, we announced the new financial literacy curriculum, and there's actually a blast going out about that this morning if it hasn't gone out already. So referred to as Access to Capital University. If you have not plugged in to understand this, encourage you to do so. It's 100% free financial literacy curriculum. It's something I would encourage each of you to go through just so you better understand what we do and how we do it, but also it's a great door opener if you have client or prospective clients that are not committed to enroll into any of the three campaigns, which again we're going to visit about in a moment. This is available. So this was yesterday's training, and if you need help with it, contact the Blue Revenue team, call or text them 430-201-4823. We have outsourced the new financial literacy curriculum to an outside group. All right, so with that being said, let's go back and revisit the three campaigns, because it's crucial that you have familiarity, competence, and confidence in the three different campaigns. So if you're a white label partner, you can go out to the marketplace with any of these three resources, and you're able to set your own pricing, determine how much you make. We know if you're a white label partner, you're not a dabbler, and that's why we really have built our model around each of you, white label partners. It's like if you went out and bought a Domino's pizza franchise, there's no risk that you're going to buy that franchise and then not make pizzas or not be open. So our white label partners have all agreed to help at least 8 clients a month, 2 a week on average. And so we're here to support you, to train you, to assist you in that. So of those 8 each month, that could come from any combination. It could come from campaign 1, the white label Access to Capital, could come from campaign 2, our new startup business package, and or it could come from campaign 3, the SBA Express loan. My goal today is to make sure that everyone is clearly understanding the differences between the three campaigns, that you know how the clients benefit, that you know how you get paid. So what questions do any of you have? Any question's a good question. What questions do any of you have about any of the three campaigns? What they are, how it works, how you get paid, how we implement. What questions do any of you have? All right, Samuel's asking about campaign 2 and it's our newest campaign. So let's review it for Samuel and everyone else. So the why. I always like starting a discussion with why. Why does this exist? Well, there are some small business owners that have not positioned their business for a successful capital raise. They're lacking some fundamental elements. Maybe they don't have a commercial address. They're operating out of their home or off of a PO box or a shared virtual address. Maybe they haven't even formed their entity yet. So those are typical attributes of prospects for the startup business package, because what we provide them is a unique commercial address. We provide them this, we actually do the filing with the Secretary of State and pay for that for them. We get their EIN for them, which of course is free and easy. We help them establish a business credit profile based upon that entity and based upon that commercial address. We help them get some business credit, funding credit that they can actually use for their business. They have access to the Chapman Fund, and we've talked some about that. The Chapman Fund is from a taxing authority. It's not a bank loan, so it's easier to qualify for. The downside is the maximum is a cap of $250,000, but that can be used for the first round, the first tranche of funding. We could help them with other types of capital afterwards. The participants in the startup business package receive a $1,250 grant allocation. So instead of them paying $2,500, they only pay a small portion of that, well, half of that. From your perspective, if you want to mark it up, you can mark it up, but normally you're just going to make a flat $250 of each of these clients. Now, if you want to attach a back-end performance fee, so let's say that you charge them 10%, they come in, they get a $250,000 Chapman Fund allocation. If you added a 10% performance fee, then you make 10% of the $250,000, so you make $25,000. It's not a big deal, not get rich quick, but it's a decent side gig. That's up to you if you want to add a performance fee to the back end or not. Yes, Samuel, campaign 2 can be used in combination with campaign 1 or even campaign 3. Samuel wants to know how to implement. Well, how do you implement campaign 2? Well, then what we need to do is option 1, you can collect the money. If you want to collect the $1,250 from the client, you keep your $250, you forward the remaining $1,000 to us, and then we'll implement. If you don't want to collect the money from them, you can just refer them over, text us the client's name and email. We'll get them under contract, we'll invoice, we'll collect, and then pay you the $250. So the startup business package is really inherently not a funding program, but it's building the infrastructure of the business so it's set up properly, including the address and the state filings. Is this required? No. We have many clients that are not enrolled in campaign 2. But as you're out talking to small businesses, if you find out that they're pre-formation, they've not filed their business yet, I would pause whatever you're discussing and I would direct them to the startup business package, because it's going to provide them the commercial address that they probably don't have. We're going to absorb the cost of the filing. We're going to get their business credit profile set up, and then they can move forward to funding, whether it be Chapman Fund or otherwise. All right, and so yes, I will send a copy of this out. Perry's asking for this. Yes, I'll send a copy of this out to our white label partners. So if you're under the new white label partner agreement, which essentially has the same language as before, but we've added comp for the additional campaigns. So yes, I'll send out, Perry, to you and the other white label partners after today's training, or recording of today's training, and also this PDF. If you're not a white label partner yet, we need to get you set up to do so. You can email us or text us, let us know that you need the new white label partner agreement. There's no cost to get signed up as a white label partner. We can get you set up, then you'll have your Dropbox with your resources, and we'll make sure you have this attachment. So absolutely, Perry. Okay, so who else has questions? Because if you've made the decision to be a white label partner, again, thank you for that. That's a great move. Congratulations. Now we need to make sure that we're executing, right? We're implementing. If we bought a Domino's franchise, we need to open up and we need to sell some pizzas, right? And so, for example, Walt's on here. Walt's one of our new white label partners. He and I spent about 30 minutes together this morning talking about specifically campaign 1. He enrolled his first client and we were getting him prepared of what to do next. So who has questions? Don't be shy. Who has questions regarding campaign 1, what it is, how you make money, what the implementation process is? I think with Samuel's question, we probably covered campaign 2 pretty well. But if you have further questions, let me know. Campaign 3, if you have questions on it, let us know. We need to make sure you know what it is, how you make money, and what the implementation process is. We're here to support each of you, our white label partners. So the floor is yours. Just go ahead and type in your questions, comments, concerns into the Q&A. It's the question and answer box of Zoom, kind of like a chat box, and we'll address it. So Walt, Tony, Terrence, Shondell, Sonia, Perry, Lon, Joseph, Jeanette, Frankie, Bernard, Alfred. We've got about 200 others, just 213 others. Let us know what questions you have. What support do you need as a white label partner to help people make money and, of course, remain compliant? We need to be working together to help at least 8 clients a month, 2 a week. We're here to support you and assist you. All right, so Timothy's saying he doesn't have his white label Dropbox because we've set up new Dropboxes. Here it is for our white label partners. In that Dropbox, you have the editable agreements, you have the press release templates, you have flyers, you have other important material. So if you don't have it, that means you've not recontracted with us as a white label partner on the new platform. The language of the agreement hasn't changed a word. However, we've added addendums or exhibits, so it references comp for all 3 campaigns. That's the change. We didn't change anything in the white label agreement. It's frankly exactly the same. We uploaded the same Adobe, but we added the comp on these other 3. So like Sonia, you don't have a Dropbox. Simple fix. Send us an email or a text. Say, hey, I need the Dropbox. We're going to send you the new white label Adobe agreement. You'll sign that. Then you'll be able to be paid on all 3 campaigns. And then immediately they'll be setting up your Dropbox, populating that. So if you've not recontracted as a white label partner, you won't have a Dropbox. Super simple to fix. Jerry's asking a question. So he's been a white label partner, but he's not been compliant. Will this reset the clock? Absolutely. This will reset the clock. So we'll recontract with you. Even if you've not performed in the past, that's okay. We'll waive that. We'll start the clock again now. Let's work together. Let's be successful where you generate income and help others. So yes, this is a reset button. If you've been a white label partner, but you've not kept up the volume, not a problem. Recontract, we'll restart the clock, we'll help you. There's absolutely no reason with these 3 different campaigns that we can't help at least 8 clients a month and generate an adult income for you. And again, the support, this is how you're going to request support. So if you need a Dropbox or you need anything that's not conducive to us addressing during this Zoom, this is how you address it. All right, Frankie's got a great question, and frankly, it fits very nicely in with the conversation that Walt and I had this morning. Frankie's question is managing clients' expectations for each of the packages for getting funding. That is probably, Frankie, the best question that could be asked. So I'm going to answer that question by going through each of the 3 campaigns because the answer would be a little bit different. So the question again that Frankie asked is, how do we go about managing the client's expectations on timeline for funding for each campaign? All right, so and this is exactly what Walt and I talked about this morning on campaign 1. So once you have a client signed up, Frankie, or anyone else, to the access to capital through the white label partnership, what we know is that once you have them under contract and we provide you the editable agreement to use, and then you upload that agreement into Dropbox, you might want to just send us a quick text to make sure that we know that you've got that new client under contract. Then what we're going to do is then send an Adobe funding proposal app to that client and copy you. And that's going to go out in what we call a white label format. So we're not promoting us, and it doesn't reference us, but says, hey, great, let's go get your first tranche of funding. And so that one-page funding proposal app will go to the client via Adobe that we'll send, and you'll be copied on it. And so then you'll know it went to them. So you'd want to encourage them to complete it, right? And then once they've completed it, then it comes back to us so we can process, which I'll describe, which answers Frankie's question. And then you'll be notified of the completed app too, because you'll get a copy of it via Adobe. So then our goal, so now I'm getting to Frankie's, the answer to Frankie's question. We should within 24 hours then get the funding offers for that client for their first tranche of financing. So let's take a client yesterday. Hopefully I have the name correct, but I'm just pulling from memory. Bridget. So if I'm, no, it wasn't Bridget. It was like Myra, maybe M-A-I-R-A. Let's try that. I think it was Myra I'm thinking of. So Myra completed her funding app yesterday morning. We ran through, she got approved for right about 60,000, 60,000 first tranche financing. So then we immediately went back to the referral partner, Mr. Law, who is not on training this morning, but we let Mr. Law know, hey, your white label client has multiple cash funding offers, totals right about 60,000. What you want to do now, Mr. Law, the white label partner, is go ahead and help the client accept those funding offers. So Frankie's question was a little simpler than that. How long until the first tranche of financing on white label access to capital? We should be able to get funding offers within 24 hours, and then we should be able to, then it's up to the lender, but normally they'll be funded in 3 to 5 business days. Could be a little less, could be a little more, but within a week is a reasonable time frame for first tranche financing. Then you as a white label partner help build out the loan package, and then we can work on their next tranche of business funding. So that was a long drawn out answer to how long should it take for the client to get their first round. Now with Walt, his first client this morning, well, that we talked about this morning, didn't receive any cash funding offers. So we used the in-house 0%, got that promptly over to the client. Well, it's going to get the client to sign that, I believe, today. So first tranche financing for white label, the approval should be within 24 to 48 hours, 1 to 2 business days. Funding should be within a week or so. So that would be the expectation, Frankie. Now, Campaign 2 is not really a funding program because, again, Frankie's asking how to manage clients' expectations on funding timeframe. Here, what we're doing is getting their address, getting their entity formed, helping them build their business credit profile. Now, within the first 30 days, they'll have that 5,000. And then if they want to proceed to the Chapman Fund, we can. But in essence, this is not a funding program. It's a setup program to get them set up properly. And then lastly, to Frankie's question, how do we set up, how do we manage the client's expectation of timeline for funding for the SBA Express loan? Well, here's what we know. Now, again, you and I, Frankie, and the rest of us, we are technical advisors. We're not the loan. I was talking to a guy this morning, and he thought we were the bank. It's like, hell no, we're not the bank. We're not the lender. We're technical advisors. We don't give out cash loans. But I think you all know that. So time frame. Here's what the bank says, and here's what we've seen. So we'll report it, and I believe it to be true. If the bank somehow changes their process, then don't hold me accountable. But we're typically getting approval same day from the bank. Granted, if we don't get the application in until late in the day, it's going to roll over to the next business day. But let's just say approvals within 24 hours, 1 business day. And then the bank is continuing to report funding in 10 business days. So that is the time frame for the SBA Express. So Frankie, let me know if I missed your point or went off on too much of a tangent there. But yes, we want people to have realistic expectations, and hopefully that helped you understand that. Perry asked about the 8 clients a month. So remember when we first set up the white label partnership, and it was labeled a little bit different. It was set up differently, but people paid $50,000 to sign up in that role. They had to pay that up front or we wouldn't got them financing. And then we grew and we started to reduce that down the way that businesses often do, right? You grow and your price per unit goes down. And then once we reach the points like we don't really need this money from these white label partners anymore, then we said, you know what? We'll waive the license fee. So instead of you paying $10,000 up front, we'll waive that. We don't want the white label partner to pay anything up front, but we need you to come in and get trained and be active. And so just answering Perry's question, we waive the license fee so you don't have to pay it. We just ask that you be active, which is the 8 clients a month. All right, so who else has questions regarding any of these 3 campaigns in terms of what they are, how they work? And again, yes, I will send this PDF. This is a training, a PDF from a training we did last week, but I'll put this in the email to each of you that are white label partners later today. I'll take today's training, convert it into YouTube. I'll send out the YouTube version of today's training for reference and attach this. If you've not recontracted or not contracted as a white label partner recently, then you're not going to be on that communication flow. We need to get you on the new agreement. The new agreement's not better or worse than the old one, but it does have the exhibits, the addendum, so you're able to get credit for all 3 campaigns. The original white label partner agreement only referenced campaign 1. Well, we've launched since then campaign 2 and campaign 3. We want you to be able to offer all 3 of those, be able to make money off of all 3 of those, and to be able to receive credit towards the 8 a month that we're targeting from all 3 of those. By doing that, then what will happen is we'll set up your white label partner Dropbox, and then you'll have your resources at your fingertips. So if you don't have your Dropbox, just get with support via email or text, and then we can get you set up on the new platform, get your Dropbox. We're good to go. Okay, so who else has questions on these 3 different campaigns? It's up to you. If you feel most comfortable just focusing on one, you can just focus on one. If you wanted to take more of a consultative approach, have a consultation with each client and then decide where they might fit best, you can do that. It's up to you. I think the simplest approach is to focus on campaign 3. Campaign 3 is something that is a little bit more tangible to the typical prospect. They're like, oh, you're going to help me get an SBA loan. That makes sense. And so then you can just simply describe the highlights. You determine the price point that you want. You know that you're going to pay us $1,000 for each client. Half is due at enrollment, half after they get funding. So you know that you need to collect at least half of that, $500 up front. But many of you obviously are charging an additional amount. So you're making profit off of it. That would be a really good thing. And many of you are adding a performance fee based upon the client's capital raise from this, which you would keep 100% of that. So in other words, if you added a 10% performance fee to these clients in campaign 3, let's say you got a $150,000 loan, how much performance fee do you collect from them? They are going to pay you $15,000. How much of that do you share with us? None. You keep all of that. So you would make $15,000 off that example of one client. Again, I know many of you are very successful. An extra $15,000 may be hardly worth your time, but you need to extrapolate that out. If we're helping 8 clients a month and you're making 15,000 times 8, that's not a bad side gig, right? There's a lot of people that aren't as successful as you. There's a lot of people that are not making $100,000 a month. Here's a simple recipe to make a good side income. All right, Jeanette's asking about the flyer. Yep. We have the SBA Express flyer, Jeanette. So if you look in your white label Dropbox, you should find that. So Jeanette, look in your Dropbox. If you don't have it, let me know, but it should be in your white label partner Dropbox. Okay, so again, we get together each weekday morning, most weekday mornings at this time. We're here to train you and support you. When you became a white label partner, we sent you the onboarding email. We set up your Dropbox. We let you know that you can access support anytime this way. We have these daily Zooms. What is it that we can accomplish today so each of you can step away from today's Zoom and go close a deal, right? Because that's how you make money, is you close deals. You want to get at least one client today under agreement, either under the access to capital. You have the editable template. It's in your Dropbox. Sign them up. There's your first one. Or you can get them signed up for the startup business package, or you can get them signed up for the SBA Express. But again, that's the beauty of being a white label partner. You're actively engaged, maybe part-time as a focus, but you're actively engaged. And I tell you, the recipe for success is have a goal of one client a day. I know you don't have to have one client a day, and I know that adds up to 30, which is a hell of a lot more than 8. But in general, if you have a focus of each day, I want to enroll at least one new client. That's something that's doable, it's measurable, it's going to help you blow your goal of income way out of the water. It's going to be great, but it's something that kind of, you wake up in the morning saying, okay, who am I going to get closed today? And then at the end of the day, did you close at least one? If so, great. What a successful day. If I didn't, oh no, I need to figure out what went wrong. Let me try to close 2 tomorrow. So that's the mindset that I would take. And that's what our top producers do. Take Tony, who's on here. Tony is running a focused program out of 2 states, Ohio and South Carolina. Not that any of you have to focus geographically, but that's Tony's approach. Every day, he's focused on getting at least one new client signed up to one of the 3 campaigns, whichever works for them, right? All right, anyone have any other questions? Just want to make sure that you have your Dropbox. So Joseph, can you access your Dropbox right now and make sure that you have these resources? If not, you need to get with support. Same for you, Hannah. If you can't right now access your Dropbox with these resources, then there's a problem. Get with support. Alfred, the same. Perry, the same. So having access to the resources, the editable agreement, because if you don't have the editable agreement to get the client under contract, you're not even open for business. We're here to help you, here to support you. What can I do for anyone before we end our call today? What questions, comments, concerns do any of you have that I can help you with today? Okay, I'll scroll down again. If you need support, at businessparalegalcorp.com, or you can text us. And when you text us at this number, you can either ask a simple question or just say, hey, give me a call. Now, I have several of you last evening that were texting, and so we rotate. I'm not the only one that monitors this, but if it's my evening to monitor it, I'll typically respond back, hey, out of the office right now, can this wait for tomorrow? Most of you are pretty flexible. In some cases, you need me to come back into the office at 8, 9, 10 p.m. And if that's what's necessary, then I'll do it. But in general, if you text, you can either ask the question or ask for a call, and we'll try to respond back very promptly. Questions, comments, concerns? Frankie's asking about the 60-day credit sweep. Absolutely. We do a lot of the 60-day credit sweeps. And so that can be offered on a standalone basis, but that is a different white label partnership agreement. It's different than what we're talking about here. But yes, the 60-day credit sweep is an important element of helping some clients become credible enough so they can get funded. So that is a standalone offering that is offered through a different white label partnership, but absolutely, that is alive and well. We do many of those. often will identify that there's a need for that when clients are going through the process, right? So if they enroll in white label access to capital, in module 1, you're helping them build out their business plan. In module 2, we're looking at credit, personal credit, business credit, adding trade lines. And so if we see, Frankie, at that point that there's a credit deficiency, then that's often where that recommendation will come from. But yes, 60-day credit sweep is live and well. It's a different campaign. It's under a different white label partnership role. We have a lot of white label partners in the 60-day credit sweep that don't want to deal with any of this. And we have some of you that are involved in this role that you don't want to have anything to do with the credit sweep. Different animal. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Let's get after it. Let's go into today with the goal of let's get at least one conversion. Let's enroll at least one client in one of these 3 campaigns. And if we think about that each day, then we'll be successful more days than not. We'll help small businesses and you'll make a great side income. Thanks, everyone. See you back tomorrow morning. Bye.